Hello everybody. Today we're going to take a look at my my Pierlite fluorescent street light from the 1960s era. Okay. Now I have shown you this fitting before. Okay, but I'm going to make a fresh new video of it. Okay, so the very first video that I made of this fitting was when I first started this new YouTube channel. I'm going to delete that video and replace it with this one. Okay, but in this video here, I'm actually going to turn on different types of tubes, okay, since I've put ballast in it, okay, because originally I just had it wired up for LED only, so now that I've got ballast for it, I can run any type of tube in it. Alright. Now, this particular batten here is made by Pierlite, of course. Okay, I'll turn it this way. So this is a Pierlite fluorescent street light from the 60s, 1960s. Okay, these were used as minor road lighting in Australia all the way up until the 1980s when mercury vapour lamps took over. Okay, but before then, this was just the lighting of the day. Okay, now this one here is Pierlite. There were other companies that made fittings like this. There was Raymond, there was AJ Ferguson, okay, which had the Zodiac, and a few others, okay. Now the major road light version was known as the Daylight, okay, made by Daylight Adelaide, okay, and that took 4 tubes, okay, and it was 1.2 metre. I don't have one of those, but I'm pretty certain I might get one off the fellow streetlight collectors. If you got Daylight Adelaide that you can send me. So yeah, so we'll take a look around this batten, okay, and we're going to turn it on with different types of tubes. Okay, now this batten here would have run 2 F20 T12 tubes, but it can run T8 as well, okay, well, mostly nowadays. Okay, so I'll show you around. Okay, now this one here is fitted with a photoelectric cell, okay, which is here, okay. So this is your photoelectric cell, so this little clear plastic dome that sits on top of it with a rubber seal around it, and the photo cell sits in there. Now originally this fitting didn't have a photo cell actually, this photo cell came off another one that I have because I put that on a different photo cell on a HPM one. Okay, so I decided I didn't need it, so I took that one off and put the cover that was on here on that one and put this one on here. Okay, so this dome is cracked but it doesn't leak or anything. It's held on by 2 screws, okay. Now on the top of the fitting here is where the lead is coming through, but there's actually a threaded insert here, okay, because there's actually a top, an arm that can actually screw in from the top here. You can actually mount it from the top, okay. AJ Ferguson had a fitting available which had rounded edges, okay, and it was top mounting only, okay. It does have a side spigot entry as well, okay, I'll just turn this around so I can show you that, which is here, okay, and you can run an arm in through the side as well, okay, so you can mount it either from the side or from the top, so that's a pretty good convenience, so you can mount this 2 ways. Okay, whereas some of them were only one-way mounting, and Fawn had a fitting which was side mounting only. Okay, so I'll put this cover on here. This cover was on there, okay, to close it off. If you don't use that, you plug it with that. Okay, and that helps keep rubbish out. Alright. Okay. Now, the diffuser on this is actually yellowed, you might notice. That's because it obviously yellowed from exposure to sunlight. Okay, that happened on all of these fittings. Okay, so if you come across any of them now, you'll see that the diffusers have yellowed. Okay, this would have been transparent when it was brand new, just like the road LED. Okay. Another thing is that I repainted this chassis as well. This fitting here I restored. I repainted this chassis. And I found a nice lighter grey colour because I did paint it in a darker grey. Okay, but I found this light grey, and this is actually the same colour light grey as on the green street and the street LED, so I think it actually looks nice with this type of grey. You can't really tell under the yellow light, but it is a very nice light grey. Okay, now you're probably wondering what these are for. Now these don't come with them, okay, these are not part of it originally. Okay, I'll put those on there. Okay, the reason is because I actually use this fitting out on my patio, because I have a mount for it with 2 hooks that this hangs on, okay, and I actually use it outside, okay, so I put coloured tubes and stuff in it, okay, for events like Christmas and stuff like that, so I actually use an Australia Day. Okay, you probably saw it when I did the video on the gates, okay, when I had the yellow and green tubes in it, you probably saw that, you probably may have seen it last year during Christmas, okay, but now that I've repainted, I thought I'd better make a nice updated video of it. Okay, now I did put this cable gland on the top here because that fits on there perfectly. I was able to find a cable gland that fitted in there, that threaded in there. The lead that I have on here is just this black one. Okay, would have been nice. Okay, so now I guess we'll open the diffuser up and we'll take a look inside. Okay, the diffuser's held on by these two little latching devices here. So you simply loosen them. Okay, and then they'll flick open. Okay, so we'll open this up. All right. So this is the plate here, okay. So this is your plate, okay, which is white, okay. Now one thing you notice that this plate is actually not bored through. There's no holes, okay, no holes for the starters. Okay, that's because this thing has concealed starters in a similar manner to the Davis battens, the element battens. Okay, so the starters are right here, okay, and they sit up. The starter receptacles are here, and they sit up inside here. So to replace the starters, you actually got to take this plate down. Okay, now there's some other screws here and I'll show you what all those are for in a minute. Okay, now the plate is held shut by this part latch here, so simply just pull this back, okay, and then the plate can drop down and come off. Okay, now we'll take a look at the top here. Okay, now none of this, now all this electrical stuff here you see is not original. Okay, all the original stuff that came with this was shot, so because I got this from a caravan park in New South Wales a few years ago. Okay, all the original stuff was no good, so I had to replace all of it. Okay, so we'll take a look. So these are not the original ballast. The original ballast was one big ballast. Okay, it was a big black chunky ballast. Okay, that ballast was well and truly had it, so I couldn't reuse it. So I just discarded it and put on a couple of modern ballasts. Okay, these are made by CMP. Okay, these do good. Okay, there's two of them. I had to drill some additional holes. Okay, now if you have a Daylight Adelaide, which was the bigger version, that takes 4 ballasts. Okay, instead of one big chunky one. So if I ever get one of those and I ever restore it, I'll need to put 4 of these on it. Okay, so here we have the photocell up here. The photocell it uses is the D2 style, which is this right here. Okay, so these D2 photocells have been around for a while, okay? Since these type of fittings date back to the 60s, these photocells have been around a long time. So these photocells are probably about 80 years old now, and they're still in use today. Okay, believe it or not, but most of the modern LED street lights take NEMA type photocells, but there are still some LED fittings that will probably take these. Okay, the Green Street takes this as well, so that's your D2 type, and this is the end where the light comes through. Okay. And here are the starter receptacles up here. Okay, these are HPM. These are not original because the original ones were damaged. Okay, but these are HPM ones. Okay, they fit in there just perfectly. I also put a big terminal block on here as well. The terminal block was originally mounted here in the chassis, but I decided to mount it here on the plate because I find that more easier. Okay, now here we have where our spigot arm would go normally. Okay, you've got your 2 screws to screw the side spigot arm on. You can see the threaded hole here, and that's the window for the dome for the photocell. Now these 2 nuts you see here are just for those parts there. I also put some black seals around them so water can't get in. And of course we have our earthing to the chassis, which is connected to the earthing in the plate. Okay, so all this is pretty cool. Okay, pretty cool stuff inside one of these. Okay, the Daylight Adelaide actually has a bored through plate, so it's not concealed. So if I get one, I will do a video of it and explain to you how it works. Okay, so I'm just hoping that the fellow streetlight collectors can help me get a Daylight Adelaide. Okay, because I do really want one. Okay, so I guess we'll put this back together and we'll turn it on. Okay, I better take this out because we don't want it to cut out on us, do we? Alright, so we'll stick this plate back in. Okay, now some of the wire, getting these back together is not easy because the wires want to snag. Okay, another thing I should point out is that I put a new seal around the outside here, just some white silicone sealant. Okay, because that works beautifully with this. Alright, so we got fluorescent starters in there. Okay, so we'll turn it on with a couple of the tubes that this would have originally been chambered for, these F20T12s. I've got 2 different types. I've got a Sylvania and I've got a Phillips. Okay, this one's warm white. This one here I think is neutral white. Okay, so we'll stick these in. Now before I do, I should point out that these lamp holders here are a button type lamp holder. Okay, now these are actually the originals, okay, because to get replacements like this now is quite difficult, but HPM actually make a replacement for this. Okay, so if I get some, I might even see if I can order some HPM lamp holders, okay, to put on here, because those starter sockets are made by HPM. Okay, so I might see if I can get some HPM versions of these, because I think that would be a good idea to replace these, because they are, like I said, a bit old. Okay, because they're original. Alright, so we'll stick the tubes in. Okay. Okay, now it's a bit tight. Now back in the 60s, the fluorescent tubes would have had brass end caps. These are more newer ones, so they have stainless. Okay, but back in the old days, they would have all been brass. Okay, they would have had brass ends, not stainless steel. Okay, so I'll put the diffuser on. Okay, I'll do the latch. I won't do it up, but I'll just close it so you can see what it looks like with the diffuser on, and we'll turn it on. Here we go. Not much blinkage, okay, but it does blink. We'll try that again. See if we can get some blinkage out of it. Still not much blinkage coming out of that. I'll hold it up here so you can get a good look at those tubes. Here we go. Okay, apparently the top one wants to turn on instantly, like if it were electronically ballasted. See, the top one's just turning on instantly, like if it were electronic, but that's what it looks like, and that's actually quite good. Okay, but that was basically, for the time, this was high tech. Okay, for street lighting. Okay, but now in the late 2010s, or I should say 2020s now, LED is the thing. Okay, but we're talking 70 years before that. So good old Pierlite, AJ Ferguson, and Raymond and all that have this type of sucker out in the market. Okay, so this was the thing. All right, so now we'll put in some T8 tubes to show that it will also chamber those too. Okay, so we'll take these out. Come on, a bit stiff that. Okay, so we'll put in some of these T8 tubes. Okay, I've got two here. I've got a Philips Alto, okay, with green end caps. Okay, now most of these nowadays, if they still have fluorescent, they've actually got T8 tubes in them, believe it or not. Okay, you've got to be lucky to find some with the original T12s in them. Okay, if you've maybe in some very old areas that have these, you'll be lucky enough to find T12 in it. Okay, but nowadays they're mostly LED or T8. Okay. Okay, now we'll turn it on with T8 tubes. Okay, so this is T8. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Got a little bit more blinkage out of the bottom one. Not much out of the top. Let's try that again. Oh, there we go. Now we got the top one to blink. Okay. Let's do that again. Beautiful. Ain't that beautiful? Okay, these are very good collector's items, these lights, since they're no longer made, since they're obsolete. Okay, they're a good collector's item. Okay, I would like an AJ Ferguson Zodiac, though. Okay, if any of you streetlight collectors have one that you can send me, just let me know. Yeah. Alright, so now, so I guess because this thing is pretty good, we are going to also put in some of these LED tubes. Okay, so since we can run LED in this, okay, since nowadays in 2020s, okay, you'll probably see these running LED tubes. Okay, so we'll take these out. Now, the LED tubes only come in T8. It would be nice if we could get them in T12, but apparently it can't. It's T8 only. Okay, now before I can put these in, I've got to swap out these starters. Take out these fluorescent starters and put in the LED starters. Alright, so we've got LED starters in there, so now we'll close it up. Okay, line up that latch, okay, on the end there. Okay, and now we'll put in the LED tubes. Now, with LED tubes, because there's a part here on the back with this for the LED, if you want light to only go just one direction, you can actually just insert the tube one way. Okay, so because these lamp holders aren't facing this way, there's actually an advantage with this type of fittings with these type of LED tubes. Okay, so alright, so we'll close this up, and now we're gonna run modern 20 more modern lamps in it. Now these will turn on instantly because they're LED, no blinking. Okay, now these are cool white. Now this is LED. Okay, now this is actually a little bit brighter than those than the fluorescent. Okay, but apparently LED tubes weren't around back then. Okay, but they are now. So any of these that are still around, okay, you'll find that they're using LED tubes in them, because I've seen a few of these with LED tubes. Okay. Okay. Now, with these LED tubes, if you want to use them more, if you want light to shoot both ways, what you need to do is you need to actually take one out and put it in this way. Okay, so you have one facing with this way and one facing the other way. Okay, so now I'll reverse that. So now we'll get light going the other way, as you can see. Okay, so you'll still have light shooting out from this one going that way, and the light shooting out going the other way. Okay, because unless you take the lamp holders and rotate them so they face down, but it's just the way they mounted the lamp holders on these. So if you want to use LED tubes in this, seriously, you actually have to mount one this way and mount one this way in order for it to work. Okay, so so that's technically it. So that's a very good batten. Okay, 1960s Pierlite. Okay, based on the AJ Ferguson Zodiac and the Raymonds and all that. There were other brands as well. So this joined up with the Daylight Adelaide as well. The Daylight Adelaide was the major road light. Okay, so that was used on the major roads in Australia until high pressure sodium lights came around. Now, believe it or not, we actually did have high intensity discharge lights back then. Okay, we actually did. We had low pressure sodium. Okay, there were high intensity discharge lights available when these were around, but there weren't many. Okay, but they were. Okay, but these were just, but fluorescent was just the thing. So fluorescent would have replaced incandescents. So we had incandescent street lights before these. Okay, so this is what replaced them. So this was the thing, and apparently I don't really know how I'm supposed to get this diffuser transparent again, but I did clean it up the best I could during the restoration. Okay, so this is just the best I'm gonna get it. Okay, so that is a beautiful batten made by Pierlite. Okay, which has been made famous. Okay, so this is a very nice Pierlite batten. Hope you enjoyed, and that'll be it.